If you guys watch this later, please make sure to hit the like button, share it out, and give us a thumbs up. Let me see who all is in here. Hey, son, what's up? Hey, Micheline, what's up? Y'all hear me okay? You know I'm looking over here because that's where I can see the chat. Okay, cool. Hey, Wendy, what's up? Y'all, the kid, I took a nap. I was supposed to be up in here after 12, but I told y'all after 12, right? I did say after 12. So if y'all watch the community board, I'll put in there. I think y'all let me know every Sunday, every other Sunday. I'm thinking like every other Sunday. How y'all doing? And I think people like live, so I'm doing that. I'm going to do a little thing on the backyard. I got to take y'all back there. I'll do that maybe to show y'all what happened. I don't know if I have pictures of it. I don't know if I have a video. Let me see if I got pictures. Hold on. Let me see. I think I sent, let me see if I sent, let me see if I sent pictures of the backyard to somebody so y'all can see that madness. I'm trying to see if I got it. I think I sent it to Sherry. I don't think I sent it to everybody. Let me see. Trying to see, y'all. I might not have sent it out. I don't know. I'm looking. I don't think I sent it. Hold on. I'm looking. Y'all. Hold on. It might have been before this. Okay, I gotta show y'all this though. Y'all gonna find this funny. So that ratchet company wouldn't come pick up their equipment. Granted, they delivered the monitors to me. The only thing I brought back here to the house was the laptop. So I've been working on the laptop for months. So they wouldn't come get it, and I wasn't going to have Joe drive me up there, and I wasn't taking Lyft up there to deliver it. So I went across the street to the mailing place. I have money set aside. Every other Sunday, that's what I'm thinking too, Wednesday. This is what the guy had to ship the laptop back in. Do you see the irony? That's straight up the middle finger. It's full of emoji faces, smiley faces, the different ones. Basically, that's the middle finger. I was like, wow, that's the middle finger. So that's what he gave me to ship it in. I thought it was funny. I was like, you can't be no more you can't be no more poetic than to send your laptop back to the ratchet people in a smiley face box. Because at first he was looking for different boxes, and it cost me like $60 some to send, almost $70 to send that stuff back. Right? It all went FedEx with tracking numbers, and he goes, I'm gonna throw this box in. He had like several different ones, and he picked up the first one he picked up was the one with them smiley faces on it. I said, oh no, bro, that's it right there. that's the one. That's what we need to. Middle finger. Y'all know I don't try to do that anymore. So Two fingers. Middle finger, flip off. Frick you. Yes, yes, frick you. He crazy ass people. Middle finger rolling. And when he did the smile, I sent it to my best friend. I sent it to Joe. I said, y'all gotta see what this man gave me to ship that lap back. It was like, I'm done. It was so poetic. I'm like, you can't get no more poetic than this. Anyway, for anybody who comes in later, please give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. And it's only us in here, but people actually be coming in and out. I was looking to see if I could find when they started working on my yard so you could see the madness. And I don't see it. Okay. I think I sent it to another friend. What I will is take y'all back there so you can see it. So what they did is when they dug out this trench, they dug the trench right next to my apartment. There's dirt. And underneath there, they dug out even more from underneath the property. So they dug and then they cut a pipe and they pulled that pipe out. And this is for the pipe that goes to my plumbing. And they put another pipe in. I thought he was originally working on the whole complex, but he said no, it was for me. So they put it in. So he cut it and put a brand new pipe under there. One guy came and dug it out, but again, I don't pay a lot of money. So instead of putting all the dirt back, they just threw the dirt over there. Somebody smokes, they left their cigarette butt there. I'm like, oh my God. That's not something, if you're paying $1,400, $1,500 a month, you ain't gonna get that kind of service. But I ain't paying $1,400, $1,500 a month. So I'm gonna get shit, ain't gonna go fluffy, gonna go back out there, and I'm gonna have to move the rest of the dirt into the hole. He got most of it in there, but they left some of the dirt. They didn't, there's plants and stuff. It was like they didn't care. It's just ghetto folks. Ghetto folks. Let me bring this up so I can see y'all. Okay, let me bring the chat back up here. Who else came in? We got some other people that didn't come in. Well, anyway, we got other people that had come in. I don't know who came in, but oh well. So, I want to talk about something. Now, I'm just going to talk in here, even though it's not a lot of us folks may come in. And they'll probably watch it later because I find that people come in and watch later. I've been seeing something. It's a trend. And then I also know that there's a few people that follow me that have some heavy psychological, mental, emotional stuff going on. But I'm also seeing that there's a lot of people who, and then we're going to just get into talking stuff, but I want to deal with the serious stuff and then chill out afterwards. And it's just something I kind of felt led to talk about on this channel because I'm seeing it among other YouTubers. And actually I know some that aren't here anymore because they've been having issues with this. So I do know there's people that follow the channel, and there's people that I talk to that in the background have shared parts of their life. I know that some of them have emotional problems. I know that a lot of people have maybe have some psychological problems. I know there's a lot of broken folks. Let me just put it like that. I know that COVID has had a massive impact on people. Not only the fact of just being, some people were single like me, and I don't have a problem being alone. I've been a person, even as a kid, I was somewhat of a loner. I have a very small group of friends, and the older you get, it's said that as you get older, you will have, I don't know about the peer discord. I don't know about that because I have a select group I deal with on YouTube, but I just been watching channels I've watched from other people that they don't know me, I don't know them, but I watch van life, I watch tiny home stuff, I watch cooking shows, I watch Christian stuff, obviously. I watch a lot of different information on here, but what I'm seeing as a common thread among all of them, I just felt the need that is something to talk about. Some people never followed me on this channel for trucking. Some of you guys, most of you guys aren't even in trucking. My son is. Wendy, you have a tie to it. But for the most part, a lot of the people who are in the chat, that usually are in our chat, they're not in trucking. Some of the people who hit me up in the background, they're not in trucking. They're not in trucking at all. So some of them have said, hey, you motivate me, you make me laugh. Oh, you gear yours to you. Okay, good. You make me laugh, things like that. So I just want to say this. I am seeing in the social media community, even on Facebook. So my two main social media things that I use are Facebook and YouTube. That's it. Facebook mainly is a lot of my Christian stuff and food. YouTube is a lot of van life, cooking, Christian stuff, news. I do a lot of my news through there because you're able to see news from different countries. Um, some That's what I do. YouTube. I've just started opening my Instagram. I hadn't been on my Instagram in years. So I just started opening my Instagram. I'll be posting stuff on there. I'm gonna be getting a barbecue grill this week. I'm ordering it Thursday. And I'm getting a smoker. I'm probably gonna get the exact same smoker I had. I was really struggling with what to get, but when I looked at the cost. But anyway, I'm losing focus. Back. So what I noticed, and I've noticed it among a lot of people, even people like ministry people, Christian people, people from the van life that I'm watching, um, cooking, all sorts of things. I'm noticing a depression that I've never seen before. And even my aunt, she said, I'm depressed, when we were talking, because I checked on her because she had some health issues. She said, I've been depressed. And sometimes I think people can't put their finger on what's going on. And, I'm going to stand back. This is going to be a little bit of my ministry hat. And here's what I see. We've been through a lot since March of 2020 to current. Most of us started being sent home from employers in order to isolate in our homes for COVID. Some people lost their jobs due to COVID. Some people don't have the income that they once had. I talked to a man the other day through my company. He was trying to get a loan for something, and and he wasn't qualifying for the loan really because he could have went to something cheaper, but sometimes we got to get our brain on point that we're no longer making $65,000 a year. We're now making 30,000 a year. So you need to purchase something that matches that salary until you can either get back to where you were or just work through where you're at. Okay, that's just reality. I don't make what I made in my younger days. I made good money in my younger days. I don't make that now. So I try to live in perspective to that. Okay. So we got to get our head, and I think it's hard for people to get their head wrapped around. What's the word I want to use? It's hard for them to get their head wrapped around the changes that are happening. It's hard to get your head wrapped around what just happened. And we're still not through COVID. We already know that numbers are starting to tick up again with the new variant. And there's actually another variant called the Lambda variant. It's been very light news on it, but it's more severe that's coming out. My aunt sent me some information on it. So it's hard for people to get their head wrapped around what's going on with COVID, okay? And so there's a lot of depression going on. And I believe that it could be people who don't have mental health issues, people who never had depression issues, people who never were sad, people who didn't. But from March to current, it has been an overwhelming emotional year. And I want to say this because I know some of the channels that I've watched, there's been several suicides. One girl was a van lifer. She's on there smiling 1 minute. Next thing I know, she's part of this collective group of social media people, and they're announcing she committed suicide. I'm like, what the hell? I just watched a video of her, not that long ago, and the woman done committed suicide. People will get on here and they'll smile and they'll do a lot of stuff. And sometimes they might be genuine and sometimes they may not. Sometimes it's a show in order to entice people to watch them so that they get kind of like their own kind of ratings or build numbers through YouTube. But behind the scenes, that person may be very broken and going through some stuff you don't know. So I want to say that because I'm watching some people and people that I've watched, even in the arena of Christianity, who You have families, and I'm looking at them and I'm looking at their faces. Hey, culinary, what's up? I'm looking at their faces. And when I look at their faces, I'm seeing a level of depression. And I'm just looking at their eyes, I'm looking at their faces. And one lady kind of mentioned it. She's a mom, and she was on here. Initially, she's doing like the keto diet. Hey, D, what's up, baby? She's doing the keto diet. She's doing her budget. She's doing meal prep for her what do you call it? Urban prepping for her family in case of emergency. She was showing us how she's building her pantry. During the early part of COVID, I've been following her. I enjoyed watching her. She uses budgetary guidelines. She had been through a divorce a while back and being a single mom, and she shared part of her life. And she's been on for a while, but I just found her channel several months back. But I looked at her face and I'm like, you're going through something. There's a depression there. I could look at her eyes. And later she admits that she was having some downtime, some down days. She's getting on there trying to smile. I saw her, she changed her hair up. We do sometimes physical things to cover up for emotional things that are deeper. And so for me, I know when I get mine is boredom. Because I eat for boredom. I do that. I do that. But if I get bored, like if I had a car right now, I'd probably be at the coffee house, sitting there with a coffee, a computer, laptop, playing some game, and just chilling. Right? That would be me. That's how I kind of escape when I get mine is boredom, not so much depression, just boredom. Um, I I know that when people go through things, please, please, please go get some help. And I know for black people, and I know about Latinos, I think you guys are kind of the same way. Black people, we don't never like to admit we need help. We always looked at, this is actually a good subject. We always looked at folks going to talk to counselors and psychiatrists. We looked at that as a white people thing. Girl, the pink people got to go talk to somebody because they're crazy. I mean, be to me. But in reality, any of us may need to sit down and physically talk to somebody, especially coming out of COVID. None of us in our lifetime would have ever thought, I'm going to live through a pandemic and 600,000 freaking people are going to die in America. None of us would have thought we would have went through the madness of who we had in office and thought we would see pink people hanging off the side of our Capitol building. None of us ever thought we would see that. None of us ever thought that. I know my age range, I never thought I would have a day where I would see kids go in schools and kill other kids and other people. I never thought that. So the culmination of the virus, the culmination of the political madness and all of the racial madness, that is an overwhelming amount of negativity, and it's having an impact. I really believe the virus did. I mean, for our frontline workers, God bless them. Those people, the ones in the hospital, doctors and nurses, they're going to need to go talk to somebody. But I don't only think it's them. I think there are several people out there right now coming through this. People are trying to mask it up by taking vacations. People are trying to say, I'm going to get back to normal. I'm going to get back to busy. I'm going to go back and do some of the same stuff. And that's going to make me feel better about what we just went through. I'm sorry. You may need to go talk to somebody. And, and if you already had emotional and mental issues on top of that, yeah, drivers are definitely frontline. Let's say that, D, definitely. If you already had emotional issues on top of this, all this is just a culmination of worse. And a lot of people, they're not, like I said, one of the big things, they're not where they were financially. Back in the day, everybody got hit in some way. We're all getting hit right now with the price increases of everything. Everything is high as hell. Me and Joe would go out and we might spend $20 a piece. If I go out right now, I know going to the type of restaurants we normally like to go to, I know I'm easily going to spend anywhere between $30 and $50. Easily. Doing the same stuff that we always do. Easily. I'm going to walk out of there. What used to be anywhere from $10 to $20, we might as well double that. It's going to be between $40 and $50. Easily. So groceries. I just started trying to do my Instacart. I was like, how the hell does this bill get to $96? I ain't ordered that much, and a dollar here, dollar there, but then stuff has doubled in price. So, right, let's see. You just never know a person's real state. That's why I tell the stories I do. Hold on, Colin there. Oh, hold on. I was trying to. Oh, you know what? Well, I'm looking here. Let me look here. Um, that's why I tell the stories I do on my page. It ain't always pretty, but I honestly, is it right? And that's the thing. People, I don't think people are totally being real, and the faces people put on. And so, like, I was watching it, and there's another one that came up. I didn't ever watch this young lady, but I guess she was a very popular person in Australia or somewhere. And I think it sounds like she used to make a saying, and her father said that's going to be the saying for suicide prevention. They didn't say what she died of, but hello, you're doing suicide prevention. So I'm like, okay, this baby committed suicide. A young girl, I mean, 19, 20 years old. I don't know if you guys remember the doctor who committed suicide. There was a female doctor in the mid to early stages of COVID who just didn't handle it well and whatever took place and committed suicide. So, what I want to say is please, please, please get help. If you sense or you not feeling right, go talk to somebody. My aunt, she'll talk to somebody, and I know that and I told her, I said, you get up, you need to do this, this, and this. And also, guys, now I'm not going to tell you to get out there and go catch this virus. I'm not going to tell you that because even me, even though I've been vaccinated, I'm still very careful. Um, I don't only pretty much will go out with people who've had the vaccine. I will not. I'm not trying to, and I mean the ones that I know that if I'm going to be in close proximity or I'm going out to hang out, that'd be like I'm going out with Joe. Now, even with Joe right now, I have Joe on. Joe's on quarantine right now from me. He's had we've had both the Pfizer, but he has one nephew who did not get the vaccine. I guess he's scared to get it, and he was recently in the hospital. And some of the things he was describing to me were COVID-like symptoms. Joe's trying to tell me they didn't test him for COVID, which didn't make sense to me. But I have no idea. I was like, well, you're on hold. And when I talked to a friend of mine who's in the healthcare industry, I was like, the 14-day hold. She said, with the new variant, 28-day hold. And so that's what I'm doing. And she actually had me laughing because she said my gift to Joe would be seeing me at Christmas, meeting. She wouldn't be involved with him at all because he's very into his family at any level. And so, that's really, I think, how the whole COVID ripped through that family because they're a very close Latino family. Latino families, y'all tend to say, I can stay away from and there are black families that are like that too. Yeah, because I can stay away from my family. I'm not a family person, right? So, yeah, I just mentioned the lambda variant. That's what my aunt sent me about that one, and that one is really bad because apparently they're saying that one the vaccines may not even fight that. I got a whole nother Christian philosophy on that. So my view on that is the man thinks he overcame with this little vaccine, and God like, oh no, we're not done. Y'all haven't acknowledged me, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this variant keep going. And y'all got a bunch of drama. You got half that won't, half that will. So I tell y'all what, we're gonna just let this rip on through. I'm like, okay. Um, that actually is a good conversation about the vaccine. I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about it. Now I'm gonna probably come from my perspective, and some people may hate me. We'll talk about that. Might be a good subject. Shooting the Shiz. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I do want to say, please get some help if you are not feeling. And your regular family doctor, one of the things they do at my doctor's office, are you feeling okay? You're not thinking about hurting yourself? They ask you these simple questions. And what they're gauging for is that you ain't flip, trip, dip, or you're not depressed. So, and it's just a standard kind of behavioral questionnaire. And if you're not feeling right, go to your doctor. Your doctor can suggest that they're physicians. They can suggest counseling. They may even, depending on the severity of what you're dealing with, they sometimes have to suggest meds. But go talk to your doctor and say, doc, I ain't feeling right. I had a time, let me tell you this. I had a time, and it was actually a physical issue. This is a long time ago. I was because I had a hysterectomy when I was 29. So I still have my ovaries. But all of a sudden, I hit about 25, and I didn't know if I was going through menopause because your hysterectomy, even though I have my ovaries, it can throw me into menopause early. So, and that's because I had a big tumor. So they had to take everything out, except for the ovaries. So I knew that I was going through these emotional, I'd be high highs, then I'd be angry. I'd be high highs and then angry, just all these like random. So when I went to talk to my doctor, she said, "You told me you went through this, this, and this." I said, "Yes." She says, "Let's set up a gynecology appointment." That's a female doctor for the guys who don't know what that is. So I went to my doctor and we started talking, and they did some blood work, and they found something about my levels were weird. So they went in and they wanted to check my ovaries, and they found, I think I had a cyst or something on my ovaries. The cyst could make your hormones, it can increase your hormonal levels. So that could affect, so it was just something physical. Soon as we got that taken care of, it's fine. So you sometimes what you may not realize, I'm going to say that, you may not realize that what you're dealing with is bigger than you. And it could be physical, but it could be just straight up, you need to talk to somebody. And talking sometimes helps. You know, some people, like I said, I'm kind of a loner. I do have some friends I can talk to. I have a very close friend. I have a couple close friends. And I have friends that I can talk to. I have one friend that's just, well, I knew her before, but she's kind of become more because she referred me into the company and we become closer. And she just made me laugh at myself. Well, again, so some people think I'm very funny. And I never realized I was as, I guess to people I'm as funny as I am. Because I tell stories. Because she gets a kick out of me talking about Grumpy, as most of y'all do. Because Grumpy is a fool. So when I talk about Grumpy and I do the impersonation of him, she said, "Girl, you impersonating your daddy is killing me." She be up in there weak. And the other day, I'll tell y'all that later. But the other day, we were talking about her sister makes cakes. And my favorite cake is a red velvet cake. And the wingman, my favorite cake is red velvet. I love red velvet cake. I'm not a chocolate person for the most part. Um, some chocolate things, like I like those frozen fudge sickles. Love fudge sickles. But I'm not normally a chocolate person. So I'm not that person that, and I can tell you if it's a good chocolate. Do I like chocolate bars? I'm not the person that normally would go buy a chocolate bar, with the exception of certain ones. Like I like Reese's cups. I like Butterfinger has a type of Reese's cup with a thin layer of that right there is off the chain. I like Kit Kats occasionally, but I don't, and I'm not a heavy sugar person. Every blue moon. Fresh fruit, I'll put, and if I'm fat, I will put a hurting on some fresh fruit. I like good fresh fruit. Peaches, Granny Smith apples, green apples, pineapple, watermelon. I'm trying to think what else. Those are like my big ones. Those are my, cherries. I like fresh cherries. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a smoothie here again. I've got some frozen cherries in there right now, some tart cherries. But oftentimes what I find, though, is that people think I'm funny. And so Linda thinks I'm hilarious. So I was talking to her, and share this with y'all. And she told me her sister was at her house making some cakes for a neighbor because she lives in a family home because her parents died and they inherited the home. So her and another sister live there, but another sister who lives in Chandler makes cakes. And she said, yeah, she made a lemon cake, black lemon cake. And she made a red velvet. I said, oh, two of my top favorites. I said, girl, I said, next time, make sure you get some slices. So we talking, and I was like, yeah, so we talking, and we laughing about just different stuff. I said, girl, and I had some, that told you I don't like cod. So I had bought these packages of fish patties. I think it said, was it haddock or pollock or something like that, which I think is a type of cod. Can't stand it. Hate it. And so I was trying to do them because I usually make fish tacos with just the fish patties. And I was using the salmon patties. And then these were on sale at Costco. So I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't know that this pollock was a cod flavored. So I had ordered it. So I told Linda loves cod. I said, girl, I got some cod for you in my freezer. And it's all yours. Please, the next time you're up in this area, because she shops at Walmart up here, come get this stuff out my dang refrigerator. Please. Please. So I told her, I said, you should bring me some funeral slices. Okay? And come get this damn fish out my refrigerator. She busted out laughing. She said, girl, you did not just call them funeral slices. I'm talking about cake. It just came out. I'm being sarcastic. That's me. It just came out. And she on the phone howling. She got me laughing at myself. I didn't do it to be funny. I was being sarcastic. And then that's when she started laughing. She said, "That's genius." And she cracking up laughing. She said, "Girl, you got my side hurt." I'm laughing so hard because she laughing at me. But I don't realize, I just didn't realize I was sarcastic to that degree. So I'm happy y'all enjoy it. I'm being me. I'm being me. So sometimes I say stuff, I guess that's why everybody liked the grumpy story. And I would be just as sincere, and I guess it was funny to people. So I be telling stories about Grumpy, and I talked to him this morning. That baby, he going to get a new catheter in. Oh, be praying for me. They gonna put the catheter above where it's at right now. Bro, it's in your penis. Yeah, yeah. They gonna move it. Where are they gonna move it? You ain't got another penis. Above there. He's so weird. He weird. So, I talk to him and I just be like, so apparently they're gonna do a surgery, and it sounds like they're gonna put some kind of, I'm presuming a support or something in there where he can attach this catheter, and it's gonna be somewhere above his private area. So they probably gonna go in there and cut a little hole and put a port in, and that's how he gonna hook to his catheter bag. Hopefully, keep him from leaking, because that's what he was leaking from his pee-pee. So maybe that port will help me from leaking. But he's funny. He's so funny. I'm like, bro, just I'm having a surgery. They're gonna move it from out of my pee-pee and move it up to somewhere in that personal area. They're gonna cut a hole in there and put some kind of port in, and I'm gonna hook to it that way. Well, my doctor says so it won't hurt so much. And he goes in. So a lot of people, it's just true medical stuff. A lot of people, when you get catheters, they learn to put them in and out themselves if they have to do them on it. He don't do that. He goes to the doctor and the ladies do it for him. They put it in for me. I said, most people learn to do that on their own, but I leave it alone. He's grumpy. Grumpy is a different cup of tea. He don't think like everybody else. But I do want y'all to please, if anybody listens to this, if anybody watches, even to some people that put comments in the bottom who sometimes don't come and watch this later, you guys need help. Please go talk to somebody. We've lost 600,000 people. To lose more people against, what I say before your time, by killing yourself, don't make sense. And also by being in a depression, and just being depressed, which impacts other areas of your life, go talk to somebody. And nobody's judging you. And if you're black, because I know, like I said, black folks, we used to think only white folks were supposed to go get counseling. That's not true. We got a whole bunch of stuff we need counseling for that roots back to slavery, to current. We got a whole bunch. We need family counseling. We need counseling on so many different levels as a culture. It ain't even funny. And we got a whole bunch. But now add COVID on top of it, we got a whole bunch we need counseling for. So there's nothing wrong with getting counseling. There's nothing wrong with getting help. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody about being depressed. Please go talk to somebody, whatever you do. That's my talk today. So I want y'all to talk to somebody. Y'all give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. Thank you, because I see y'all getting the numbers up there for the likes and thumbs up. Other than that, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is that please get help. Today, not doing too much. I'm going to get up in here and work on some stuff in the kitchen. I'm thinking this week I'm going to try to order. I still don't have a couch in the living room, so I'm going to go do that. And I'll let y'all, hopefully, it depends on which one I get, I'll let y'all see that. When I might be putting it together. I really want this leather couch, but that's going to cost me a lot more money, and probably later down the road, I might get the leather chair that comes from that couch, but I also had a day bed that I really liked from Royal Market, Cost Plus. So I think I'm going to order that bed, the frame, and then I just have to order the twin mattress, which I'll probably get through Amazon and or Walmart.com. And put that on there, and then I just got to order the cover for it and get that in there, and I'll put it together. And then I still have boxes in the living room. So Gradually, what I'm gonna be doing is I'll be going through the rest of this stuff. Still got the black bags over here against the wall. Y'all see that thing over there? That's a lid to a trash can I had at another apartment complex, and I have a whole new trash can in the kitchen, which I like better. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I have to figure out something for it. I might use it back here in the room. Thought about it, I could use it even for a clothes hamper actually, because it has a swinging lid, which I might do. And then I get these black bags, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff going to Goodwill. So I'm gonna be going through and setting up bags. And anytime I go out this house, like I need to go for lab work, I'm gonna do an extra stop over at Goodwill. Coughing right now, draining back. Um, I'll take y'all back in the back again. I have not. I started the gardening, and they did all that dirt digging and threw the stuff on top of my plants and stuff. So stuff died. So I haven't been out there. It's been exceptionally hot because, as y'all know, the whole Southwest region is going through a massive heat wave. We've been between 115 and 120, I think 21, 22 degrees. They said somewhere in California, they said 130 degrees. I was like, well, dang. I've been in Arizona. We've been up to 120, I think 21, 22. It happened on my birthday several years back. Several years back. It was the first time we ever hit that heat. I was like 130. But there's no global warming. There's political party that don't want to deal with it. There's no global warming. There's no climate change. Y'all on crack. For the planet to be doing that kind of stuff in California. So, and we won't even talk about, if you guys have ever been up into Canada, they talk about those wildfires in Canada due to the heat wave up north of us. And it's usually much cooler. Yeah, buddy. There's something going on in the atmosphere. I don't know what y'all think, but something going on. So, yeah, let me see what everybody said. D. Well, I don't, D, you said send the email again. So let me explain. I think that was the Zoom you were talking about. I only did that as a one-time thing. If y'all talking about the Zoom, I think that's what you're talking about. I already did that, and that was just to talk about the stuff from the Ratchet Company and kind of give some background on what I tolerated. So there was a small group of us in there, and and I went over as much as I could. There was a lot more I could have told, but we would have been in there for hours because I was there from October 2019 up until end of May of this year. So I was there for that time, and the only reason I stayed that long, like I said, had it not been a frontline essential industry, I was on my way out I was going to be leaving in March because I was going to apply for the place I'm at right now because my friend she would have referred me in then, but because I wasn't sure how this company, since it was not a essential industry, I wasn't sure how it was going to fare during the pandemic, but they actually have done quite well, and they are doing quite well. So they're telling us we're going to go back in the office in October. I don't want to go back in an office, but we'll see, because I want to see what's going to happen as things start cooling off, and also with everybody traveling, I want to see how the numbers are actually truly going to be, especially after this 4th of July weekend with travel, because we do know some states have gone back up. Some countries are starting to lock back down again on certain levels. And I just want to see how it's going to be, especially you got the current variant they were talking about, and then you're going to have this Lambda variant. I think you said Peru. I forgot what country. I know my aunt sent me something on it, and I foresee that coming over here soon enough because we've opened up travel again. We're a global community, so yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it's faring. We're going to see how it's faring, and I'll see if they really going to do that. But they're doing well enough that they just got another building. They're in the process of working with my home city of Tempe to build an entire campus. It's going to be what their plans are to do something very similar to a Microsoft, Google type campus for this particular company. So we'll see how that goes. Right now I'm there for a paycheck. That's where I'm there for. Everybody's cool. I like the diversity. The diversity is what's the most impressive. I don't know if there's a culture they done missed. We got African, we got Asian, we got Latino, we got black folk, we got white folk, we got in between over folk, we got every kind of folk you can think of. So, young folk, old folk, It's really a good representation of America at this company. It's not that ratchet, mainly white folks in charge mindset of what I came from. So that much I was happy about. That's what's good about them. So yeah, we have a light rail. I haven't. My goal is to have a car before I have to go back in an office. So I will be buying a car by probably end of August, sometime between now and August is the goal. I'm looking for something between 3 and 5 grand. Um, the light rail though, I used to ride it. I won't be doing any public transit right now. I'd have to be a major emergency for me to do public transit. For me, I'd rather. Granted, Lyft is another person, but it reduces for me the risk of being on a big public bus or something like that with the virus, even though I'm vaccinated. So if y'all don't know, and this is a subject we will get into, even though I'm vaccinated, it does not prevent us vaccinated from getting COVID. All the vaccines are supposed to do is prevent you from supposedly getting as sick as what itchy. You know what? I had a soda. I bet you that's what making me itchy. Um, it's only supposed to prevent you from getting as sick as what people were getting where they're on ventilators and stuff. So it's supposed to help your body fight the virus. That's all the vaccine is supposed to really do. Um, and it has, like I said, 96% efficacy because I did Pfizer. And that just means that it's for 96%, it's going to be population's affected, and there might be that 4% that hey, you do even though you had the vaccine, you might get full blown COVID, and it's a done deal. So I mean, it's supposed to be a preventative. So I weighed out my options. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the light rail system here, it runs from like our central Phoenix area all the way into another city called Mesa. I've never ridden it all the way out to Mesa. Ours does have a person who is a transit worker who sits in the front of the train and is there. I don't know if they're really doing anything other than watching the system, and I think it's more so for emergency purposes. They may have braking systems in there. It's the only thing I can think of. Um, but our whole town is set up where when they come through, the traffic doesn't move. They got the right of way. So it's ours is a ground level transit system, which I'd love to. That's something I wouldn't have mind of getting hired to do. Um, Ours is ground level is just driving the train from one end to the other, and then our busing system is okay. Our Arizona has never truly had a great transit system. It's way better than when I was in high school. Because, like in high school, if I tried to go somewhere, you might as well jot out 2 hours. Because on the weekends, the buses ran like on Sundays, I think it was every hour on the hour. It was horrid. If you went to the mall, it was horrid. The transit system, and it's still not good. It's way better than what it is because usually it's now, I think it's 15 minutes, every 15-minute wait for the bus in most directions, but it can get down depending. And our transit is not 24/7. Um, Buses, I think, stop running close to probably between 10 and 12 at night. And the train, I think it runs most times up until, I don't know, maybe on the weekdays. At least it was running to like midnight, I think. And then on the weekends, it ran to like 4 in the morning. Um, and then the buses in transit pick back up usually about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 in some cases. So it transit system here in Arizona bites. Hey Tamika, what's up? um do you enjoy working with someone else? Tamika, I'm not driving anymore. So yeah, I don't drive trucks anymore. So no, I'm not even in trucking anymore at all. At all. I'm in an office, and I left the whole. I'm not even. I was in a trucking office, kind of doing like a after hours driver manager. I'm not even doing that. I am in an office, but I don't deal with anything in trucking. So sorry about that, sweetie. Yeah, so I'm not in trucking anymore. Um, D, where you at in the country? Chicago? I'm thinking Chicago for you. You say 2 hours. I'm figuring that's Chicago, because New York they got subways. So I'm thinking Chicago or somewhere like that. Okay, Michigan. I can see that for Detroit, my friend. Oh, I can see that. Lake effect snow says it all. Look, I remember driving a truck, and when snow started coming down, we all it was like a line. Everybody just we passed that pilot, and everybody started turning into the pilot. We parked back then, got a spot, and sat. And then everybody sat like this in the front seat, hoping the snow would stop. And when it kept going, I just climbed back in the back and made a sandwich and went on lay down. Checked in a couple hours. Yeah, checked in a couple hours. Yeah, Tamika, there's some people in here who are still drivers, so or their spouses of drivers. They can answer that question. I got nothing for you on the trucking industry because Shannon is done. Shannon's done. If I talk about trucking industry, we're gonna take it from the racial stuff going on to the office, dripping down all the way to the drivers. But I can't because I. Oof. Anywho, um, yeah. So right now, um, so let's get that. That's actually an interesting topic. Somebody said, I'm not getting the vaccine, and I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just going to come from my perspective of it. And I'm going to come from what I think when people are looking at the vaccination. And it's to me, it's a choice to get it or not get it. So here's where I have a problem. So the first thing I did, I waited like everybody else. Let me see all the other pink people and everybody else go get vaccines, and let's see what this, if they gonna have adverse side effects, whatever. And we may end up having side effects years later. Who knows? But as a kid, here's what I remember. As a child, you could not go to school without getting certain vaccinations. And now, after the previous administration and his madness, hey, Robert's house, welcome. Um, After the previous administration and the madness of whatever that baby was spouting, that was nonsensical, we have a world that's in flux and in this weird, we don't trust this, we don't trust that. We use words now like fake news, that were now been pushed into the community and through social media. We got people who jumped on different bandwagons, and they have all sorts of things. Black people, we've already been suspicious just because of the whole Tuskegee experiment and historical things we know that people do with us in conjunctions with using us as guinea pigs, whether here or in Africa. And even though there's Africans who don't consider themselves black, being that we originated out of Africa. That's one of the reasons I like to say African American. Um, Thank you, Tamika. Even though we want to, you use the words African American. And Tamika, again, there's drivers in here, so they can answer. I think when Wendy, who is Magical Girl, she was answering your question about trucking. So there's people in here who can definitely, there's still people who follow me from trucking. They can answer any question you got about being private owner and so forth. So she and others in here, Jay, I think Jay was in here, he can answer questions too. So feel free to ask that question. There's people in here who can help you. But we have a lot of people who, I think with all the previous issues, under all of the rhetoric that happened, there are people who are still concerned with getting the vaccine. And I do this because I have a niece. My niece is like, I wouldn't get it. Only way I'll get a vaccine is if you get sick. Well, that's backwards. You don't get a vaccine after you get sick. You get the vaccine. Vaccines are meant to be preventatives. That's the goal of a vaccine. That's why we have them. And that's not new. That's been vaccine for years. We're acting what I call brand new. Some of the kids say, you acting brand new. Your mama say, you acting brand new. I'm going to tear that tail up. We acting brand new as if vaccines just came out the air. They didn't. We've been using vaccines for years for different things. Now, there's certain vaccines I don't get. I don't get the flu vaccine. I don't get the flu shot. I don't. Never have had it. Thought about getting it, but I haven't got it. I am going to go get the shingles vaccine. A, because of my age, And B, I know people my age who've had shingles, and shingles is not your friend. My dad got the shingles vaccine. So I do need to get that. I put it on pause because I got the Pfizer vaccine for COVID, and I knew that this vaccine was so different. And something they mentioned was, have you been vaccinated with anything else? So I gave it enough time before I go get my shingles vaccine. But I'll be going to get my shingles vaccine here very soon. We have different vaccines, and you just have to make your decision on what you're going to get. But the thing I have a problem with, I think, is the behavior towards this vaccine because of the previous rhetoric from some, what I call the right-wing evangelical. I'm Christian. I am definitely a born-again Christian. I am not an evangelical Christian. Those people are the people who line themselves politically with the previous administration. I don't play in that ballpark because I do believe in the separation of church and state. I just do. I go back to a biblical saying, render unto Caesar what's Caesar's and render unto God's what's God's. So therefore, I see the separation. Something has happened from the previous administration to current, where we have a group of folks calling themselves Christian who have really made their alliances to politics opposed to their God. Point blank, period. And now that same group of quote unquote Christian folks claim to believe, I guess, that this vaccine is, a whole bunch of other stuff. When you went to school, and I'm 53 years old, when I started going to school, there were certain vaccines we were required to get to go to school. Preventatives, and my dad, me and him were talking about it. Me and Grumpy were talking about it. I think it was polio, I think chicken pox. I can't remember all the other ones. Different vaccines that your children are required to get in order just to go to school. Okay? A lot of us get, what's that one they get for lockjaw? Oh my God. Tetanus shots is a type, a type of vaccine to keep you from certain things happening. So we all of a sudden have demonized, in my sense, the COVID vaccine. Didn't you go to school? You got all these other shots. So how is it that we've demonized this? Now, I do believe in doing your research. That I do believe in. And I had to look at it. So one of the premises, for example, my niece was, 15,000 people have died after getting the shot. 600,000 people have died from COVID. And in the grand scheme, how many millions? They're telling us that 60% of Americans have gotten at least one COVID vaccine shot. So if we look at the populace and you tell me 60%, hey, V. Griffith, what's up, baby? You tell me 60% of the populace has gotten their vaccination, at least one shot. And of that 60% of the populace, you mentioned to me 15,000 people. That's a very small percentage. I don't even know what, because I got my phone going on right now. Let's see how many people are in America. Hold on, let me do a Google. Let's see what Google gonna tell us. Hold on. We need to Google this. America. Hold on. USA population. Okay. So I'm hoping I'm reading this number right. The Census Bureau, and this is for April 26, 2021. With the census says the population of the United States is 300. I hope I'm reading this right. Hold on. Let me go look at this. I hope I'm reading this right, because that's a lot of commas. So I'm hoping this is right. Let me read it. 331,449,281,000 people here in the U.S. Okay? If I took 60% of that, so I'm just going to take 60% of 331 billion. Hold on. Where's the calculator on this thing? No, hold on. Where's my calculator? Here's my calculator. Hold on. So we're going to take 331 times 60%. That's 198. I was going to do 199 billion people. So 199 billion freaking people have supposedly 60% of the populace, 199 billion people. I hope I read that right. That had to be right, right? Let me read that again. I'm pretty sure that's right. Is that billion? Is that billion? Hold on, let me look at that again. Yeah, that got to be, because 281, that has to be thousands. Hold on. Is that billion? It's got 3 commas. I think that's billion. It got to be billion and not million. So that's 199. 199. I'm estimating billion. And of that, you telling me 16,000 people died. Even if that was million, that's a drop in the bucket. And don't get me wrong, I'm not happy they died. I'm just saying that could be any vaccine. That could be anything. That could be for any reason. It could be they had adverse side effects to anything. There's people who've gotten the vaccine for the flu and died. But there's people who've gotten the flu and died. Hold on. Let me get out of here, V. Griffin. Let me look from here, because if I look on the phone, it messes me up. Hold on. Go back. What did you say? And I get what you're saying, V. Griffith. But what I'm saying is she's using that research to that 16% to say, I'm not going to get it because 16% of the populace of that 16% of this 16, not 16%, 16,000 people have died. Let me just say this to you, and let me try to put this in perspective. Let me see how I can put this. We all are going to cross a casket. We got, if Christians, we believe we're going to leave here one of 2 ways. We're going to go through a casket or through the rapture. One of 2 ways. Point blank period. Point blank period. If we're alive and God comes, we believe we're going to be raptured. Okay? Not everybody may believe that, but that's the Christian philosophy. If we live long enough and our time comes, our clock gets called, we're going to visit a casket. Point blank period. Okay? Okay, then that might be million then. I might be the million. Okay, thanks, Jay. Even still, it's a small number, right? That ain't a lot. 16,000 and composed to that number, that's not a lot. So we all are going to cross a casket. It's inevitable. I mean, it's inevitable. It's part of life. Every man is born knowing, once we come to cognizant realization of life, that one day we all are going to die. We're all born knowing that we are going to die. What we do between birth and death is what matters. So please have some kind of impact in your life. I will say that much. This thought process about the vaccination, I think we need to be very careful, because we've got a lot of people who are looking at this vaccine and they're demonizing it. I'm not saying you to go get it or not. I'm not going to promote you either way. I know what I did after I waited to see how other people were doing on it, and I made a decision, and that decision could have been detrimental. But my decision was get the vaccine that may help me fight COVID, which I've lost people to. So I would rather take the chance to be part of the 16,000 who died opposed to the 600 million who died because of COVID. I'd rather take the risk on still possibly being here to maybe have some impact in either somebody else's life or to live a little longer and enjoy life a little bit than to not. And we all, when we walk out our front door, you take a risk. Y'all remember that show with Denzel Washington, Devil in a Blue Dress? He got a quote in there. He said, when I walk out my front door, I might be getting in the midst of some trouble. When we walk out the door, we don't know we're going to come back through that door. I got people don't even walk out the door. I had a friend of mine, his sister didn't get COVID. She's in her kitchen cooking. Her husband leaves, he comes back, she dead on the floor. Not COVID. During COVID. Not COVID. His brother, who had lived a long time, had just had transplants, had gone blind due to his diabetes. He had the diabetes runs bad in their family in general. And he went blind during the diabetes, lost weight, got the transplant, but still went blind. The sister died, and I don't even know if it was a few weeks later, the brother who's a diabetic is dead. 2 siblings, 1 family, back to back. Not COVID. During COVID. None of us know our time clock. And unfortunately, 600,000 people, that time clock was COVID. But there's other people it's not COVID. I had a girl I worked with at the University of Phoenix. This baby's 34 years old. She would have been celebrating her 34th birthday this week that just passed. I just got the news she's dead. Worked with her. She sat 2 rows over from me when I was at the University of Phoenix. Funny Latino girl. And they just posted it on Facebook, and I couldn't pick my teeth up. 34 years old. She got 34 years of life. That's all she got. So a lot of us, where we're demonizing it, and I have a problem, is that most of us went to school and were required to get vaccinations. Don't demonize it. Just decide I'm going to do it or I'm not. I don't get the flu vaccination because I saw my grandfather get very sick when he first got the flu vaccine. Now, the flu vaccine has changed since he got it. That was back in my 20s. I was like 18, 19 years old when he first got when the flu shot came out. His doctor talked him into it. He got it, and he was sick as a dog. And I think that's back when they used to inject the live flu virus in order to help your immune system fight and build up the immunity. He got sick as a dog. That baby got sick as a dog. I was like, yep, I'm good. I'd had the flu before. So I would rather just go ahead and just let my body naturally fight the flu. That's a choice. I'm not telling you the flu virus or the flu vaccine is bad. I know people who've gotten it and they're fine. And maybe they don't get the flu during the year. I don't know. For me, I'm not a person that gets the common cold very often. And let alone, I'm not a person who gets common colds, flu. I mean, I've had them, but not very often. So, I'm not going to demonize it. I'm going to research it and see if I'm going to do it. But there's people who demonize it because they're scared of it. Hold on. Okay, and actually, I get that. That's where I get into some question marks. So I do know I did mention that early. We actually, as African Americans, we're always cautious on vaccines, and we're cautious on medical treatments in general. And we're not the only ones. The Jews went through some of the same stuff too. So we can't sit up here and act like we're the only ones that are a minority group that was experimented on. We are not. Jewish folks have too. And for those of y'all who think Jews are white, they are not. That's why they went through concentration camps. Come on now. So because I know in America we trying to put people in groups that we saying used to be, if you were Middle Eastern, if you were from certain countries, you were considered this, and they use the word Anglo-Saxon to consider European white. Then once the numbers started diminishing, white folks started including other people who weren't as chocolate as me. If they looked a little bit more like this, then you're inclusive, even though you weren't really white. You're not Anglo-Saxon. So that was helping you with your numbers, okay? Exactly. So Native Americans too, correct. So we have people who, there was different experimentation, things that were done, things that were introduced to the community. I mean, Black people, we can look at our communities and see a lot. I mean, the whole drug thing with crack and all that came into the community and how that happened, and what that was going to do to our community. HIV and AIDS, we can already say that was another thing that hit two communities hard: minority communities, black folks, as well as gay community. Then once it started getting into Anglo folks communities, now we're going to do something about it. Now we got all sorts of treatments, right? Right? You know, if y'all was dying off from it, oh well, we don't really care. But once it starts bleeding over into us, then we got to do something about it. So, I mean, we know the disparity of differences. We saw that with the Capitol. Had we changed the color of folks and we made them black and Latino, child, by there would have been blood on the Capitol. Wouldn't nobody been getting on no planes going home. FBI wouldn't have been showing at your house because you would have been already in handcuffs sitting in prison somewhere. They would have built a group by. We all knew. Newscasters was like, if that had been some white newscasters was like, they're letting them get away with that. Look, on their own people was sitting up there going, they let, because had that been black folks, Mexican folks, child by, there would have been blood. They would National Guard. Hell, they might have dropped bombs on you. big old divots. Bodies flying. Come on now. Come on. But it was some pink folk. So I already realized that, but we can't look, we have to really look at it. And what the first thing I did was wait, and I want to see how everybody else was doing, especially the pink folk. And they was going to get it. So I'm like, okay, you know, it's an equal playing field. And I researched what I could find online about it. I found out, and that's why I chose Pfizer over Moderna. I could have easily gotten Moderna shots right across the street from my house. I could have went and got Moderna shots. Instead, we drove all the way up to North Scottsdale in order to get my vaccine. Joe drove his nephews up into Prescott, and he had to drive all the way into the East Valley in order to go get his shot from Pfizer. And he called me. He's like, Shannon, I know you watching everything with COVID. I'm gonna get that. I think I'm getting the vaccine. Which one? And that's when I had got in. I had watched information. I didn't know who Moderna was. I was huge because I'm like, and I'm not knocking them. They probably are a fine company. I don't know nothing about them. They were a new drug company for me. I don't know who the hell Pfizer was. Moderna was. Pfizer had been around. I knew Pfizer from allergy medicine and stuff like that. But what kills me is we're also demonizing these companies, but a lot of us are taking meds with tons of side effects. We're taking medicines from companies to treat different illnesses with a shiznit load of side effects. It's like, oh, I forgot what commercial. I just watched a commercial for something. I think it was a birth control. But I was watching it on here on web TV, and it starts telling them about something they inject in a girl's arm, and I think it's for birth control. And it's like, yes, it can prevent this and this, but these are some of the side effects. And it'll say side effects, but if you start experiencing, you may have clots, you may have this, if you have this pain, if you have that pain, you could have this kind of such, please contact the healthcare provider immediately. But we'll go take that and not question it so that you can screw. Come on, let's just go there. We'll take a ton of other medicines that have a shiznit load of side effects. When they show these commercials, they show a plethora of the side effects. We'll pop them pills, go get them shots, so we can keep doing what we want to do. But when it comes to this, because it's been politicized, and because we've got so much rhetoric on it, all of a sudden we throw our hands up. And like, I ain't taking that else. Did you get a polio shot? Yeah. Oh, okay. Did you get a tetanus shot? Yeah. Did you go get? So I get researching it because it's a new vaccine. Trust me, I get that. But there's tons of people that jump on new medicines. So here's an example. My aunt got blood clots, right? Because she had been in a car accident, and during COVID, she wouldn't go get the surgery for her knees that she's going to need. So she was more sedentary, and I believe that's why she got the blood clots. She ended up in her house walking, and all of a sudden, wasn't feeling well. She called 911. They came and got her. Put her on heparin, which is a drip that they do to dissolve the clots. I've been on it several times because clots run on my father's side. This is my mother's sister, so it's not something hereditary to her. It was because she was sedentary. She's in the hospital on that. Now, when she gets out, they put her on Eliquis. I told her, I'm not doing Eliquis. My doctors tried to get me to change over to one of the newer blood thinners that don't require the amount of monitoring that the blood thinner I'm on requires. My blood thinner I've been on is called warfarin. Warfarin has been around for years. Years. It's a very well-known blood thinner. When Eliquis and these new ones came out, there was issues with people bleeding out and all sorts of stuff because it was not monitored the same thing, because what they did was try to make this stuff convenient for folks who didn't want to get monitored as frequently as I have to go get I'm supposed to get monitored, should I say. So they did that. I'm going to put my thing back. I decided I'm not going to Eliquis. Eliquis is a new one. I told my aunt I wouldn't go to Eliquis, but that's what she did. Again, it's a newer type of blood thinner. She's got to make her own educated choices. She decided to trust her doctors. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I did my own research. For me, I'm sticking to warfarin. So again, it is a choice. I just think that we need to be very careful with those choices and not demonize it as if, because right now we're talking about it's a worldwide thing they're doing. Everybody's trying to get vaccine worldwide. It's not like they're selecting a specific group of people. It's worldwide. They're trying to get this under control worldwide. So when I went to research the ones we had in America, I went and researched, and I'm like, okay. And originally I was leaning between Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson because these were two companies I know. But I was strong on Pfizer because Pfizer had been researching COVID, not COVID-19 necessarily, but the COVID, because this isn't the first COVID we've had. They were researching all sorts of COVID vaccines because of SARS and some of the other COVIDs we've had. This is just one of the worst ones. This one ain't no joke. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's just random. I think it was something, based on how this COVID is, I think somebody was playing with something. And I think they were playing with other COVIDs, and it bit them in the butt. It leaked out of whatever their experimentation was, or their research was. And that's why they was kind of silent about before they told the world, hey, y'all, we got this COVID thing over here in China. And it done leaked out. And by that time, it had spread. And, they couldn't lock it down there because it had already gotten out from the facility that we probably were working on it on. And by that time, it's a point blank period. It's done. So now all we can do is try to fight it. And the only way we are going to be able to fight it is a vaccine. I know you got genius telling you, it's got to go through the populace. Well, it's probably gone through the populace. And now that bad boy is he's basically evolving. So he can start again. So, if we can lock it down where we can get people to where we can get it to clamp down, then yeah, and that's going to have to be most likely a vaccine. So you do take the risk. But every man is known. One day we all are going to cross a casket. Do I want to cross it with COVID? Hopefully not. That me and the Lord didn't talk. I told him, just take me in my sleep. I don't take me in my sleep. I don't want to go through any major disease. Granted, that might not be the case, but that's my hope. So we all have to make choices on how we're going to get through some things. And this virus is a booger. It is a booger. But we have to make choices, and I don't think that we should demonize the vaccine and what they're trying to do. I think that's what the other administration did, because, he made it more politicized, and then at the same time, he would turn around and then he says, well, I'm telling you a vaccine's coming. And before he left office, he supposedly got vaccinated. So we got to be careful, and now we have what I call the evangelical Christians, and I'm not getting it. Why? Please give me a reason. I mean, you don't owe me anything, but I'm just curious. What's your reason for not? So, basically, I'm thumbing my finger at the government. And then there's some people, I think, on the evangelical Christian side who are trying to point at this as if it's the mark of the beast. In a sense, that's what they're doing. And I don't believe it's that either. I believe it's a prelude to it, though. I dang sure believe it's a prelude to it. I believe a lot of what we're going through is preludes, but I don't think that's what we need to focus on. And I think that's one of the most dangerous things. We're so focused on the politics and a bunch of conspiracy theories that we're not doing. And I'm going to take this little Christian route. We're not supposed to do what we're supposed to do as Christian folk. And what you're supposed to be doing is sharing Christ, and in the best possible way. Okay. But if you focused on the madness of the politics and all that, you getting off of the drama. You getting into other drama. Somebody keeps saying the wingman. D, what you mean the wingman? You talking about the Joe as a wingman? You talking about Joe the wingman? That's funny. I don't know if that's what you mean. Joe is my wingman. I don't know if that's what you mean. Let me know what the wingman is. Okay, so it is three. It's million. I said billion. So well, at least the way. Well, there's 1, 2, 3 commas. Let me see how yours looks, Jay. Where Jay have it? They got 3 commas, bruh. Google. What I did is I Googled U.S. population 2021, and it shows it 331,449,281, and then there's another comma. So I think I think that's supposed to be 331 billion, which would actually make sense because they have a comma, but it might be million. Either way, it's a lot of dang people, and 16,000, half of even 199. Let's say it was 199 million. If you say 16%, 16,000 of 199 million, that's nothing. That's nothing. How many people die in a day? And I'm not wishing death on anybody. Trust me, I'm not. But that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, y'all, we've been on here over an hour. So I'm going to get off of here. I just got in here to chat. So what we're going to do, and I think every other Sunday we'll try to do this because I'm off on Sundays. So every other Sunday I'll hop on and do a live and talk about something. If y'all got subjects, throw them at me. I just wanted to talk today because I just been seeing a lot of people, and some of the channels I followed, I know that there's some people who are popular YouTubers who've committed suicide. One, I didn't know this girl. She was on my Facebook, and I guess they were talking about she was a popular social media person in Australia and 19 years old, and it sounds like a suicide situation. And then I've been following other people, and there's a level of depression. So I really want to say what we've gone through with COVID, it's a lot. And don't just think that taking a vacation, buying something new is going to help you get through the stresses that you just went through. I'm a pretty honest person with myself, so I'm honest. Like that's what I was. I know I'm fat. I'm not somebody who faking a funk. I see people. I'm like, do you not realize you fat? Because they be trying to wear stuff and do stuff, and I'm like, but is something wrong with you? Because I'm looking at them going, that is not fat. Fat folks shouldn't wear that. Usually younger folks, but still, there's folks even my age who be doing stuff, and I'm like, it's just like, so for example, y'all see up here is where I'm receding, right? So my friend Linda, I told her, I said I'm gonna shave my hair. She like, you grow hair? And I said, but she knew, and I said, well, remember I had longer hair at University of Phoenix. She said, yeah. I said, yes, it does grow on the sides and the back and right here and right here. But then right here, it's really thin. So it looks like the uncle with the dip. And I was like, I'm not somebody who's going to lie to myself. I go in there with the razors and I shave it all evenly down. And to me, it's much neater. I can brush and go. I don't have to worry about, this little dip in the middle and trying to fake the funk. Because there's women who try to fake the funk and they try to be growing little pieces here. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. I'm not a wig person, obviously. I mean, there's some that will do wigs and stuff. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But if go that route. But let this go. Don't even try to fake the funk with your natural hair. I don't like weave at all. I can't stand it. Weave makes me want to crawl up on the ceiling, especially folks doing the cheap weave. It look like a rat been sucking on their hair. I can't. I can't. I be seeing, and they act like it's just gorgeous. And I'm like, it look like a rat been up in your hair sucking on it. Okay. So I'm not, yeah, and that would never be me because I'm still kind of tomboyish. So I'm just going to shave it off, brush it, and call it a day. I'm going to be the old black woman with the salt and pepper gray hair when that time comes, if the Lord lets me live that long. So, yeah, no. No, 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 no. But anyway, y'all, I'm ready to get my butt off of here. We'll be on probably every other Sunday. So not next Sunday, the Sunday after. And watch the community board. I'll just post when I'm on. I knew I was going to jump in here after 12. And I'll probably do them here about this time. Because actually, I got up. I had my little breakfast. And then I came back here. Lay back down for a little bit. Because I've just been tired. Because I worked yesterday. And just slept. I'm going to get up from here right now. And go in here and work on some stuff in the kitchen. I got to throw some trash out because I cleaned some stuff out the refrigerator and I can smell it. I was like, whoo. I had some, what is it? Spinach and lettuce going bad. So you know, it gets really, really funky. So I'm going to throw that out. And that's it. We had dust storm last night. I need to go see if my mat is out there because I have a mat that marks my apartment because there's like four different number threes in here because every building has the exact same 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of them have it, but each one has a different address. But it's all part of the same little complex, but they don't have the addresses listed outside. They're inside. It's really bizarre. And so folks kind of have to figure out when they deliver here which one I'm at. And usually the helpful hint is my mat. So I got to go see if my mat is still out there because we had a bad dust storm yesterday. Anyway, y'all, 2 and 2 be blessed. Give us a like, thumbs up, share it out. Peace.